good morning everybody. Welcome to another round of coffee and questions. And so today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about woodworking and a way you can make money woodworking without buying a lot of expensive tools to get started. Talk about wooden signs, and I'm going to give you a little motivational kick here in the end. Because I have a friend of mine that he sent me an email and he's like, hey, I'm going to swing through town on this certain date, which was a little ways back, but he swung through and he goes, I just can't do that stuff that you do. He goes, I don't know anything about it. I don't know how. And yeah, okay, look, I get it, okay? And I go, I'll guarantee you spend an hour with me, you'll start rethinking, the way you're looking at things. So he did, we did, that's that. So what am I doing today? Okay, I'm shipping out a couple of signs to people that I made. So we do lots of welding and lots of metal bending videos and stuff like that, and I've posted them for you folks to take a look at. And you can replicate what I do. Maybe you can even make it better. Okay, that's fine. That's what this is all about. We all learn. So I'm going to walk over and I'm going to grab one of the signs I'm shipping out today. I make these repeatedly. So what's the kick behind that? Well, the first one I made took me quite a while. The second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, I got faster because I already had a pattern. I already was behind the learning curve to some degree, and I was able to repeat this process of making these over, and I'd leave them in raw form afterwards, and then when somebody ordered one and we figured out the colors and what have you, I would go ahead, fix it up, put the finish on it, and ship them. Let me show you what I'm talking about, and we'll keep going. Alright, right here. I don't know how well this is going to pick it up. I'll try to get up close here so you can really see. And I'm also trying this new wide-angle lens on my Canon Vixia that I'm seeing if I like the camera or not. So far it's alright. But anyway, this is the sign. And you can see you don't have to do this notching if you don't want to. Okay, you could leave them square. And I just go around it with my router bits and whatever else, and I clean it up and I sand it. And I figure out the color the customer wants, I put it on here. Now, this one's ready to ship. And I put a chain up here on top with some eye hooks. I have videos already step by step showing you exactly how to make these signs in the way that I make them. It works for me. It's not the only way. You can put piece of strap metal across the back. There's lots of different hanging methods. You don't have to use the way I do it or anything like that, but it gives you an idea. Now, let's talk about this for a second. What do you need? Well, you need a router. Do you need a really expensive one? No, not really, not to get started. I didn't. What I did is I went out and I bought one out at Home Depot. I bought a trim router, DeWalt, right here. Okay? So yeah, you got to spend a little bit of money. There's no way around that. And the pine wood is actually real cheap. So I look for wood that's got some really nice figure in it or whatever else, and that's what I buy, and I buy it to the width and the length that I want, and you get it home. So you got the router now, you got the wood. What about the bits? I'm going to leave them in the link below. I bought 3 bits after watching online videos and stuff like that, and I narrowed it down because I didn't want to go buy all of these router bit sets and whatever else, and some of them are cheap and they dull out fast and all this other stuff. I wanted to buy really high quality good bits, and I thought, okay, let's do some research. What can I buy that's going to really withstand going through many signs before they dull, and then I'll have to learn how to sharpen them or buy new bits. I believe it's called Whiteside. I'm going to leave it in the link below. I bought 3 bits. I bought a detail bit, a 60-degree bit, and a 90-degree bit. Because after watching lots of videos and stuff, and seeing how these guys swap out bits and they do all this stuff and whatever, those are the 3 that I knew that I really needed to make these signs. Now, I did buy an inexpensive Ryobi router bit set from out at Home Depot too, because that's what put the edge on this for me. And I wanted to be able to create, you can do, quarter round, half round, depends on the thickness of your wood, 1/8 round, all these different things, or you can get them with a little bit of a chamfer in it like this one has. So they were all in that same inexpensive kit, and I thought, well, I'm going to buy the inexpensive kit. I'll use those for right now. and I'll narrow down which ones I use most all of the time, and then I'll buy much higher quality router bits. So the first few signs that I made or more, that's what I used. And then I used some other tools, to pick out different areas, like an ice pick, and I used a screwdriver that I made into a cutting tool, and these are all in the past videos. And I'll show them to you briefly here in a second, but this isn't so much a how-to as letting you know this is how I got started. Now, after I made and sold probably 10, 12, 14 signs, whatever, I was letting everything drift off into a PayPal account that I have. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. It's hit and miss, and I'm making money. And so that, along with the welding stuff that I do, I started getting kind of busy. For a while, I got much more busier than I wanted to be, which is a good thing, but I work a full-time job, so I cut back on all this advertising, all this stuff, and like I always tell you, I keep pictures on my phone, show them to people, and I sell my projects that way, and it's kind of a comfortable, slower pace. For you, it could be different. If you have got the time, you may want to step it up. But that's what I do, is I keep them on the phone. But those are the basic tools, okay? And that's all I needed to get started. And so then, after selling, enough of these, I thought, wow, look at the money that's in there. So I turned around one day at a garage sale. It was still in the box, and I got a plunge router. It's a DeWalt, another one. Right here. This is the big one. This is the larger one. This is 2¼ horsepower. Okay, so what do I do, and why would I want this one? It's not impossible with the trim router to do the whole sign. Like I said, I did that in the beginning. But when you get into the field part of what I'm doing in terms of texturing or whatever, it takes you quite a while with a trim router. Whereas with this monster, it chews it up like there's no tomorrow, and a very powerful router. So with these two routers, I'm able to increase my productivity. I'm able to bang them out faster and get them ready to ship faster. So then, you're able to turn these over at a quicker rate of speed. Depending on what you're selling them for and what have you, this works out really well. And these are all of the tools that I really needed, other than sandpaper and whatever finish you're going to put on these. Now, somebody said, well, what about the sanding? What about the finishing? Okay, you need to go back to my videos, because this one isn't so much about how to make these signs like I keep telling you. It was to address the fact, if you're not interested in the welding and metal and stuff like that I do in terms of making money in videos, and you're more interested in the woodworking, go back, take a look at those videos, drop me a comment, ask me a question. There's no secrets. I'm more than happy to tell you whatever you need to know. Okay, now, you say, well, that's kind of a hit and miss thing. Selling those bath for 5 cent signs, yeah, it is. But let me give you, and I don't remember whose video to credit them for it, but the way that I first started and the way that worked for me, the best when I started to really kickstart things and start making money, is, let me find it. Give me just a sec. Okay, with the same concept that we just talked about, I made these. Open, and on the other side, closed. Right? Chain right here, because a lot of these stores have this kind of a sign that they put on those little suction cup things on their window. And you say, so what? Okay, well, here's the so what part. I made about 4 or 5 of these, and I kept them with me in the trunk of my car or wherever. And when I went around to local businesses, and you must have a lot of them in your area, wherever you live, I'd say, hey, you know what? I said, I make signs. You want to take a look at something that I made? I just wanted to see what you thought of it, And I would walk in, and I would go like this, and I would show it to them, and they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And of course, the next question is, how much are they? Let's tell you what. I'll sell it to you for, sometimes 25, 30 bucks or whatever it was that I told them. I go, but, if somebody says anything about it, can you give them my number and have them contact me? And I go, because I do a lot of other signs besides just open and close. And they said, yeah, sure. Okay, so that started to work a little bit. And I did get, and it's in the past videos I'll show you, I made a big one for a building supply store here in town. But they were like everybody else. It's like, I'm sure they're not going to pay, a couple $100 or anything like that. And I went down and I made them a deal. I said, hey, look, let me have the wood. You've got it in cutoffs out there, and I'll make it real thick. and I'll put the design on it that you want with the colors that you want, whatever else. You know, I'll make the whole thing for you. In exchange, you let me have, you know, as much of the cutoffs and stuff like that as I want, and I'll come down with my truck. Well, they thought it was a pretty good deal because they throw the stuff out anyway, really. And that's where I got this big, thick 6-inch by, I don't know, 4 by 6, whatever they are, posts, and those are the ones I brought home, and I made my workbench out of them. And I got enough of their remnant cutoffs that they cut for contractors and stuff to do most, not all, but most of the framing for that massive workbench that I built. So I'm not opposed to bartering either, okay? So this is your best bet when you first start, especially with a trim router, because you don't have to do all of that field work that you did on this one, where around this lady and around those letters, you can see where I had to do all those peaks, valleys, and all that stuff. That's what I call field work. So these were easier to do. They were also easier and faster to sell. I still do. I'm shipping one of these out today. It's not this one. This one I kind of hang on to as like a display thing, at least for the moment. But I'm shipping out one of those. So you can do wood signs for people. Think of the possibilities. You could do Mr. and Mrs. Smith's house, or House of Smith, or you could put 1484 Travis Road, or you can put, you know, the Save All Church, or I don't know, you know, it's open to your imagination and what people want once they see what you're capable of doing, and it's not hard, it's really not. I do plenty of videos that show you how to sand and how to do everything else. Let me caution you about something before you embark on the open and close thing. Adding less is more in terms of appeal. Don't go overboard with wanting, oh boy, this is fun, and routering your brains out and getting too close to the edge and all this other stuff, and you don't want to do that. I mean, so the reason why I said less is like on that sign, I just wrote the words closed, open, carved them out nicely, took my time, did everything I showed you in the previous videos, and I did a little bit of distressing on there and put a finish. That was it. They're very quick, they're very easy to do, but don't go overboard. I mean, I saw somebody on one of these videos, it just doesn't look good if you do. You'll know when your mind tells you, stop, that's enough. Okay, you've reached the point where it looks good, quit screwing with it. Now go into your finish work, start sanding, get your finish work. To answer your question, it's like the friend of mine that stopped by, we spent a couple hours, or we spent more than an hour. And I actually had him make something while he was here. He put his name on it, and he was like jazzed when he left here. You have two paths. You have one called Mr. Resistance, which is easy to go look. I don't want to do it. I don't know how. I don't have the tools. I don't have the time. You know, I don't. And then you have another path, which we'll call it success, or your path to success in learning how to do something. It's like focusing in on an exam. I want an A on the exam. Oh, okay. But you have to take a test to get the A. Oh, I don't want to take the test. Got it. Now you're on the wrong path. You're on the path to resistance. So I have to take the test. Well, gee, that means I have to study for the test. Yeah, you do. I don't like studying. Yeah, I get it. You think somebody's going to hand it to you, and they're not. So you have to study, take the test to achieve the A. The same thing works in all this stuff that I do. Don't think that I haven't made errors and failed at things, and I have a lot of times. What you need to do is, instead of get mad and throwing it out and quitting, let's analyze why you failed. I'm going to take the wood lathe as an example. I blow through things sometimes, whether it's a bowl or a vessel, and yeah, I get pissed off just like everybody else. I've spent a lot of time to get to that point before it blew. Okay, let's stop and analyze why it went wrong. Was there a crack in the wood that I didn't see? If I'm welding, I wasn't welding hot enough, and that's the reason why the arm broke off so easy. I mean, and analyze it, learn from it, and move on. I mean, it's the old thing about Thomas Edison failing all these times before he invented electricity. The chemical engineer at WD-40, the reason why it's WD-40 is he attempted 40 times before he got the formulation correct. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Just like, look, that's the way that it is. You're going to make them, okay? But you watch these videos, you learn from them, you move forward, and you keep getting better, 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 better at it. You'll be fine. You'll start selling your work, and then that is the motivation that pulls you to wanting to do more. Not sitting around thinking of all the reasons why you can't do something. So success is in the journey. It's the hard work that you put into it to be successful. It doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to wake up and go, oh look, I can do this. You have to put some effort into it. It doesn't matter anything that you do. I don't care if it's like you want to lose weight, you want to do better at your job. You have to put effort into it, which is the journey, before you hit the point of being successful at it. Keep at it. Get up off your butt. Buy the tools. Tell yourself, I can do it. Nobody's watching me. If I fail, who gives a damn? I'll do it again, and I'll do it again, and pretty soon you're going to get better. So don't be afraid of it. You've got those two paths. You've got Mr. Resistance. He's going to kick your ass. He's going to make you his bitch if you're not careful. If you turn around and say, I'm not going to let that happen, you punch it in the face and you go off down that successful path, you'll get there. So when looking at the two paths, you just have to say, okay, I'm going to buy the tools. Maybe today you just go out and clean up your shop and you make the space for, let's say, making these wood signs, and you got it all prepared. And you followed the links below and you bought yourself some router bits, or you went to Home Depot, or whatever it is that you did. And you picked up a trim router, which doesn't cost that much, and you picked up a few of these bits. And you came home and said, I'm going to just try. I'm just going to do what he says. I'm just going to try. You're stepping in and down that path to success. What you're doing is you're looking at that resistance part, the part that's going to make you lazy and not want to do anything, and you're going like this, and you're not going to choose that path. Stay on the path to success. Keep at it. Like I said, nobody's watching you. Nobody cares how much you failed. And there are tons of videos now on YouTube on how to do things, and so you fall into this thing, like I said, where he's like, well, I don't have time. No, you do have the time. You're just being lazy, okay? And what I do at dinner time or thereafter, when my wife's watching something on TV I don't particularly want to watch, I'm over at the counter where my computer and everything is, and I'm watching videos from other people. What kind of deals are out there on tools, and how do they use this kind of a tool, and and I learn, and sometimes I'm watching things that I'm never really going to do. Sometimes they're just funny to watch. I mean, we all find stuff on YouTube to watch. So there's plenty of information there to teach you what you need before you begin. But if you begin and you want to make money on the side to fuel your hobby, it's very doable. It's very easy. Focus. There's your word, focus. Focus on something like, I'm going to make open and close signs. It is not that hard. I'm going to go watch his videos. I'm going to watch other people's videos. I'm going to get a trim router and some bits. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try it. And I'm going to go around and see if people buy them. And when they start buying them, it will motivate the hell out of you, and you'll start making more of them. And then you'll branch out, and you'll do other things. Don't be afraid. And don't be afraid of the negative comments or the thumbs down and all this crap that these other trolls and people put on YouTube. You have a thing where you have to take a look and say, okay, yeah, I understand what he's talking about Mr. Resistance and the negativity. You have to learn to punch negativity and resistance in the face and switch paths and just go, I'm going to learn it. I can do it. I just need to buy the tools and I need to spend the time. That's it. Okay folks, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap up the video. Those are the routers that I have. There are plenty of good routers out there. It doesn't have to be DeWalt, and it doesn't have to be Whiteside bits, but I will leave the links below to the trim router, and I will leave the links below to the cutters. You decide, but if it's metal and welding, or if it's woodworking or anything like I do or show you, and you think, wow, that's pretty neat, get off your rear end. Let's get it done. You can drop me comments. I will always respond to you with questions that I can do to help you. I hope you click subscribe, drop me a comment. I will see you soon. You folks have a great day. Bye-bye.